Alright, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be giving my MLB DraftKings picks for Tuesday, August 29th. We got a full 15-game slate today on this Tuesday, so I'm not going to waste any time. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so just looking at pitcher today, we have 4 guys over 10K. Our 4 stud pitchers are Irvin Santana, Rich Hill, Arrieta, and Chris Sale. I think you do want to pay up today. There's one guy that I obviously like. You probably know who it is. That's Chris Sale going up against Toronto. Now, this obviously isn't a smash spot for Chris Sale, but when it comes to guys like Sale, Kluber, Scherzer, Kershaw, these kind of guys, you just play them no matter what the matchup is. They're just so solid, and Chris Sale definitely fits in that category. We rarely see this guy get blown up. I believe the 2 bad games he's had this year, both of those have been against Cleveland. And other than those 2 games against Cleveland, Chris Sale, he's been so solid this year. He's pitched well against this Toronto team in the past. He's faced them twice already this year. He's averaged 39 DraftKings points in those 2 games, gotten 24 strikeouts in 2 games, so he's averaging 12 Ks per game against Toronto. And the Vegas line obviously reflects it. The Rays have a really low total today. Right now, their implied run total is only at 3.4 runs. And Chris Sale minus 222 favorite. So I really like this spot for Chris Sale. He's dominated this team in the past. Definitely think he's going to have another solid game here. I'm pretty much locking him in for 25 DraftKings points. I think he's easily going to get there. And we know he has upside to where he could get 40 plus. So I think Chris Sale, the SP1 you want today. If you're playing cash games, lock him in. He's the best option, the safest option. And even in tournaments, I don't know if you want to completely fade him because he does have a lot of upside. And he could totally go off and ruin your night if you don't play him. So Chris Sale, my SP1 today at 13,200. And then for my SP2, since we did pay up for Sale, obviously going to need a cheap SP2, and I definitely think there are plenty of cheap SP2 todays. A lot of guys at the mid-range that I think you can definitely target that you can pair with your SP1. One of those guys at the mid-range I really like today is Luke Weaver for 7,600 going up against the Brewers. I think Weaver, a really good option today that you can consider as your SP2, or maybe if you don't want to play Sale, you want to fit into mid-range pitchers, and then really pay up for the bats. I definitely think you can go with Weaver and then another mid-range guy. If you do want to pay up for expensive bats, you can do that because I really like this spot for Luke Weaver. He's going up against a really strikeout-heavy team in Milwaukee. If you just look at their K rate versus righties this year, they're leading the league in strikeout rate versus right-handed pitching, striking out 25.7% of the time. Luke Weaver, he's already faced this team once this year. I actually faced them in Milwaukee, so he's faced them in that hitter-friendly park and put up 26 DraftKings points. Pitched 6 1/3 inning, gave up 2 runs, got 8 strikeouts the first time he faced this team. So Luke Weaver has done solid against this team already. And Luke Weaver is definitely a guy that can rack up the strikeouts. When he gets into good matchups, good strikeout matchups, he can rack up the Ks. Like I said, put up 8 Ks against the Brewers. In his last game against the Padres, put up 10 strikeouts. So I do really like this spot for Luke Weaver. 7,600, I guess that's a reasonable price tag. He's definitely been outperforming his price. And given the upside that he does have in this spot, I do like Luke Weaver as an SP2 option that we can consider for 7,600. When we go with Sale and Weaver as our 2 pitchers, we're left with 3,650 remaining per player. So we're obviously going to need a lot of value bats, and there's definitely plenty of value today in the bats. So I think it's pretty easy to fit in an expensive pitcher and a mid-range pitcher today. There's definitely enough value bats to where you can fit it in. And one of the value bats I like is at first base, and that's Matt Carpenter for just 3,800 going up against Matt Garza. Really like this spot for Matt Carpenter, and I'll absolutely love the price tag at just 3,800. I think Carpenter is way too cheap today, given the matchup and given the ballpark. The Cardinals, they're going to be traveling to Milwaukee, a very nice hitter's park. So I think this is a really good spot for Matt Carpenter. Going up against Garza. Garza not really good against lefties. So far this year, the lefties, he's allowed a 362 WOBA. And he also gives up a ton of home runs and doesn't strike lefties out at all. So far on the year, he's given up a 1.74 home run per 9 to left-handed hitters. And he only has an 11.8% K rate versus lefties. So Garza isn't striking lefties out, and he's given up a lot of home runs. And he's also given up a lot of hard contact as well to lefties. 47% medium contact and 36.9% hard contact. So I really like the spot for Matt Carpenter. Obviously love the price tag at 3,800. Going with him as a value play does allow us to fit in Chris Sale. And Matt Carpenter definitely has potential to outperform his price. I believe he has some nice BVP against Garza. I'm not sure. I didn't see it in the RotoWire column, but I believe he has hit Garza well in the past. So that just adds on to it. Love Matt Carpenter today at first base for some value at just 3,800. And then for my final two plays, we're going to be going to the outfield. And the first guy I like today, going to be getting some Coors Field exposure. A value play I like from Coors is Alex Presley for just 3,800, going up against German Marquez. Now, I really like Alex Presley today. Looking to get some exposure to Coors. He is very cheap today at just 3,800, and he is projected to bat second in the lineup. So you give me a guy batting second in Coors for just 3,800. Obviously, love that for value. Going up against Marquez. Marquez is a pretty decent pitcher, but when he is in Coors Field, you can definitely take some bats against him. If you just look at his home and road splits, he gives up a lot of home runs at home. So far on the year, in Coors Field, he's allowed a 1.6 home run per 9 at home, and then on the road, only a 0.86. So does give up a lot of home runs in Coors, and he doesn't pitch nearly as well in Coors as he does on the road, obviously. So I think we can definitely target some Detroit bats here. A lot of them are pretty cheap, so you can still get some Coors exposure today. Look to get some Detroit bats, and then you can still fit in Chris Sale as well. So I like Alex Presley today. Looking to get some value at Coors Field for just 3,800. And then my final play, a really cheap value play I like today, should be in the starting lineup, is Chris Young at just 2,600, going up against Brett Anderson. Really like Chris Young today as a cheap value play we can target in the outfield. He is in the projected lineup. He is projected to bat fifth. And if he is in the lineup batting fifth, love Chris Young today as a value play we can target. Young is a guy that does hit lefties well. And he's going up against a pretty bad lefty today. Brett Anderson really struggling as of late. I was looking at his 2017 and 2016 numbers. He hasn't pitched much in the last 2 years, but in the time that he has pitched, he's been really bad. Just looking at his 2017 numbers to righties this year, he's allowed a 387 WOBA. So he is definitely a guy that we can take some bats against. And the Red Sox, they have a nice total today. I believe it was over 5 runs. Yeah, their total is at 5.2 runs, so I definitely think you can get some Red Sox exposure today. They are relatively cheap. Some of the guys like Hanley Ramirez, Bogarts, even Rajai Davis, a lot of cheap bats in that Red Sox lineup. So definitely look to get some exposure to them. And I'm going to be doing that today with Chris Young, just 2,600. Really like that price tag. He's insanely cheap. We don't need much from him at all to return value. So if you need sort of a punt play in the outfield to where you can fit in your expensive pitchers, definitely consider Chris Young today. If he is in the starting lineup, he should be batting towards the middle of the order, maybe even bat towards the top of the order. So Chris Young is a punt play that I like for 2,600. And yeah, guys, so these are my 5 plays for tonight. I went with Chris Sale, Luke Weaver, Matt Carpenter, Alex Presley, and Chris Young. When we go with these 5 guys in our lineup, that still leaves us 3,800 remaining per player, which you can definitely work around today. Really like some of these Cardinals bats against Garza. Obviously like some of those Detroit bats. They're very cheap in Coors. Definitely get some exposure to them. And the Red Sox as well, a team I'm looking to stack up today as well. And some of their bats are also very cheap. So you shouldn't have a problem building a lineup around this 5. Or if you want to get my full lineup, then be sure to follow me on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. My lineups are $5 a day, or you can get a week of lineups for $25. So if you are interested in that, be sure to hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. Or if you just have any questions about the slate, or you need to ask me something, you can contact me on Twitter as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed. If this is your first time on my channel, please be sure to subscribe. I do upload these videos daily. And I will also be coming out with some NFL videos soon. My Week 1 NFL video might be up sometime this week. If not this week, definitely will get it out next week. I'm definitely hyped for this football season. Definitely think we're going to have a great year. So be on the lookout for my NFL videos. They should be coming up soon. So yeah, guys, make sure you are subscribed. Got a lot of content coming out. And after you do subscribe, you will notice that there is a little bell icon next to the subscribe button. If you click that little bell, that will notify you every time I upload. So if you never want to miss out on any videos, be sure to do that as well. Would really appreciate that. And yeah, pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Good luck tonight, guys. Peace.
I don't really care if you cry. I don't really shouldn't ever lie. Should've saw the way she looked me in my eyes. She said, baby, I am not afraid to die. Push me to the edge. All my friends are dead. Push me to the edge.